Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video here that we're doing for the Commission Expo, which is taking place in Orlando, April 19th to the 21st. Right now, I have my good friend, Mr. Ray Lane, the video guy. What's up, Ray?
Hey, how is it going?
Oh, man, things are awesome, exciting, hectic, a lot of action going on. We're getting closer to the event, so a lot of ticket sales are coming through, which is awesome, but a lot of just exciting, a lot going on.
Oh, I'm sure. I know it's a very wild time when you're putting together one of these events. I've been in the backside of a few of these, and it can be a little scary and a little wild and crazy. But
well, you know, I convinced myself a few years back that I could run one just because I'd been to a bunch of them, and boy, did I learn my lesson. There's a lot to take care of, you know, before an event. It's so different than doing a product launch, but it's exciting. It's exhilarating. My favorite part of an event is the people. You get to go and make personal contacts with the people that you've just seen as like screen names and things like that.
Yep. Oh, that's a huge part of it. I mean, honestly, have we ever even met in person? I don't think we have.
No, we haven't met in person. I think we met on Facebook through chat or something, yeah. Or maybe I put a comment on one of your lives. I'll tell you what, you're one of the very first people that I actually saw promoting products as an affiliate with video, and more specifically with live video on social media. And Ray, honestly, man, I thought it was genius. And the part that really sunk in was when I saw that it was like a Facebook Live, or it might have been Periscope or YouTube or somewhere, and I had already seen this same exact presentation. I was like, no, he must have done. So I was saying, like, this guy must be raking in commissions. He's got to be, like, because he's everywhere with the same presentation. So you have a way to make commissions and to make sales through video on social media, and I think it's amazing. Definitely something that I wanted to teach our our attendees.
Yeah, it's a fantastic medium, and you mentioned being the first and all this other stuff, but I remember the day that Facebook changed their way they did Facebook Live, and you could start to do things from your desktop. And,
oh yeah.
I mean, the next day, boom. I mean, the world changed that day. And not only did I start promoting products that day, but we actually put a product out teaching people how to do it 3 days later. So literally in 3 days, we put together this entire launch, how to do this, how to set it up, what software to use, and got it out, in 3 days, and then sold it over the weekend. And, people went crazy over it.
Dude, you know what's awesome about what you just said? I'm looking at it from like a business mindset, right? Not only did you leverage some brand new technology, I'm constantly telling people that are like stuck in like 1980, and I'm like, look, you're working on the internet, man. Like, this is the most rapidly evolving and changing industry in the history of mankind. If you want to be productive, if you want to stay on top of the curve, you've got to be willing to change. If you don't have willingness to change, then and not only willingness to change and keep up with the technology, but to act fast. What you just said was, within 3 days, we had a product out there. No wonder you're killing it, man, because you're seeing the opportunity, and right away you're like, let's go, let's do this, let's make something about it. And that's excellent.
No, and the funny thing is we got that out, and somebody else had one out about a day after that too. So it was very quick. People jumped on it. They knew.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So I've got a few questions that we wrote up here, because my purpose with these videos is I want everybody to understand why they can't miss your presentation at the Commission Expo. Just I don't want to, let the cat, I don't want to steal your thunder. I know there's a lot of stuff you're going to be revealing from stage, but could you share with us what's been your biggest accomplishment online? Give us a little bit of a behind the scenes look into the brain of Ray Lane.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to break it up into two things. One being a personal thing, and one being, dealing with other people. And the first one was, I remember the very first time that I made enough money online in an entire month to pay my mortgage.
Oh, wow.
And up until then, I'd never done, it was the first time I was like, we made enough money online this month to pay the entire mortgage. I mean, it was crazy. It was wild. And we'll never forget that, because it was just such a milestone. And, then of course, later on you look back and you think, man, I was so excited about that. And now it's like we have days where we triple that in a single day. you know, and back then it was just such a big deal, and it still is. You know, anytime you can start to really see progress, it's always a good thing. And the other thing, and actually this has to do with a live event, was I went to a live event, this was about 2 years ago, and it was right after we had put out a YouTube-related product that allowed people to make phone calls directly from YouTube videos. Very cool little product, and I got to the event, and some guy came running up to me. He's like, "You're not going to believe this." I had no idea who he was. I had no clue who this guy was. "You're not going to believe this." I'm like, "You're right, I'm not." But, he says, "I used your product, and now," because what he was doing was he was doing pay-per-call advertising, and I don't know if anybody's familiar with that.
Okay.
Basically, you it's almost like pay-per-click advertising, except you get paid through phone calls instead of clicks.
Okay.
And he was using that new product along with his pay-per-call advertising, and he said he tripled his business in the course of like 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
And that was when I realized, I'm like, okay, you know what? These things that we're doing are cool, and yeah, it builds my business, and I use it for this and that, but the fact that it touches other people's lives and really makes a difference, I mean, that's just incredible. And to have somebody at a live event be able to come up and talk to me about that was just one of the coolest things ever. So
that is a great story, Ray. That's a great story. I think we've all had this moment. What resonated the most for me was when you talked about your mortgage.
Yeah.
We've all had those kind of situations. I mean, you're talking to a guy that in 2003, I was homeless, dude. Myself and my wife were homeless, literally just trying to figure out what the heck we were going to do. And, you know, when you start seeing the money come in the beginning, I didn't believe a damn word. I thought all you guys are paid actors, okay? And this has got to be bullcrap, because how could somebody make $17,000 in a day? No way, this is criminal, you know. And this is the kind of that, I don't know, I guess just the mentality that you've had through all those years of your life getting beat up and stuff. So I love that. For me, the biggest one was when back in the day, it was ClickBank, and we used to get paid through checks.
Yes.
Paper check. And I got a check that was a little over $90. And this is after like 6 months of me trying to make any money. But what happens is they would have a threshold, and you had to meet all these criteria before you could get a check. So I was seeing some money in the thing, but I was like, I want my money. And I finally got it. I think you had to pass $50 to receive a check. Yep. And when I got it, it was like, I'll tell you, you would have thought I won the lottery, man. When that check got to the house, I was so excited.
I remember the first time I did a quote-unquote product launch, and it was actually, I had purchased a product from John Thornhill, and it was WSO Domination was the name of the course.
Okay, yeah.
Years ago. And when I bought it, it was probably ancient at that point, and everything in it was probably out of date and everything. But I followed it. And I launched a product that Friday. So I got it on like a Wednesday. I went through it on a Thursday, and I launched a product on Friday. And I made $500. And that to me, I'd never made a penny online at that point. That to me was the most amazing thing. I'm like, I can't believe this. We made money. And I was actually on a trip with my family that weekend, and I'm looking at my phone and going, holy cow, these people are buying stuff. Now, of course, I'm not providing support because I'm off in a hotel room somewhere. So if there had been any problems, I wouldn't have been there to even help people. But hey, I didn't know any better. And that $500 to me might as well have been $500 million, because it was just such a big thing to see. Holy cow, this actually does work. We can actually make money doing this. And, that just kind of turned. I had no affiliates. I had no nothing. It was just people on the Warrior Forum purchasing, but it worked.
Hey, Ray, it seems like your camera's frozen. Can you still hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Yeah, hold on. Let me just pause this a second, see if we can unfreeze you.
Hopefully we didn't.
Okay, I think we're back now. I just had to pause and reset it there. Ray, that's such a great story about WSO Domination. Now I'm going to give you a little twist. Did you know that I actually wrote the sales page for John on that?
I'm not surprised. I figured you were involved somewhere in there. So,
but that was a great product. I love that story. Let me ask you something else here. Can you tell us a little bit about your talk at the Commission Expo? Like, why should we be sitting in the room when you're up on stage talking?
Well, the big thing is, just like you talked about at the beginning, embracing new technology, especially in an online business, is huge. And right now, live video is the biggest thing out there as far as that goes. I mean, We're talking about all these big players that are jumping in on live video. You started with YouTube, and then we had Periscope, and now we've got Facebook Live, and Vimeo's doing a live feed now, and I believe Dailymotion even does live. So there's a lot of these live platforms popping up all over the place because they know that you get more engagement, you get more interactivity, you get more views. And let's face it, when you talk about something like Facebook, which is that's my premier live platform. I love YouTube Live, but you're not, at least for me right now, I'm not going to get a lot of people watching it live. I might get a ton of people watching over the next month, but with Facebook, when you go live, you get people right away. And you're guaranteed, unless you're a hermit, you're guaranteed to start getting people on that live video immediately, even if you don't have a big following. And what I love about that is it really gives you the opportunity to teach, to interact. It's almost like a webinar at that point in time, but it's a on-the-fly, off-the-cuff webinar, and it allows you to really make a difference when it comes to explaining things, when it comes to reaching those people. And here's the really cool thing about it. The very first time I did it, I wish I could remember the product. I need to go back in my history, figure out what product it was, but the very first time I did a live demo of a product, we made $900 off it. The very first time.
Wow.
And,
so you just went on live, shared what you were using,
yep.
And $900 came into your account.
$900. Yep. And that was the very first time we ever did that. At least, I'd gone live, where you pull up your phone and just talk into it. But this was the first time doing a produced live where we had, from the desktop, we could show the products, we could, do a full review, we could answer questions, we could talk to people.
Yeah. And that's the part that I think a lot of people don't know. You can record the presentation and then stream it as a live, right? There's software and technology.
That's another thing that you can do, and we'll definitely be talking about how to do that and why that's important. And I do that every day. In fact, one of the things that I do for I have a couple of small businesses. Aside from the stuff that everybody online sees all the time, I've got a couple of small businesses that deal with video production. And one of the things that I do with those is because I've got so many videos that I've made over the years, I take one of those every single day. It streams live automatically, just these older videos that go live on each of those pages for those products. Every single day, a new live goes out. And what we found was that the amount of engagement that those pages got went up 1,200%. Now, 1,200% over 1 or 2 is not a huge number, but you get the idea that, these were pages that essentially were dead. I'm going to call them dead pages. They had product. People would go there once in a while. We'd post things there, but nobody was paying attention. We started doing these lives, and the engagement, the number of views of the page, the number of likes just started to skyrocket. And every single day, we run a live video through each of those, all pre-recorded, all stuff that I've had sitting around for probably a couple of years, but they're all relevant. So it goes out every single day, and a new one goes out, and we've got, we use some stuff.
Man, I love this concept. There are so many tools that every single one of us uses every day online that someone out there still hasn't heard of, and that someone out there still hasn't purchased. And we could literally just hit record on our screen and just talk our way through doing some things, put it on a live, program it to show every couple days or every day or whatever, and money will come in. So this is a great, great concept that I think can help so many people.
Absolutely.
How do you think this? How do you think your presentation will specifically help people in the audience to make more money?
Well, the big thing is, of course, action. And when it comes to video, everybody talks about how great video is. Everybody talks about how great live video is. However, take a camera and point it at somebody and look at what happens. Yes, exactly. So the big thing is getting people to understand that they can take action, and even learning that they don't have to be on screen, which, personally, I enjoy being on screen, even though, get the face made for radio, but I don't mind. But the majority of people either don't like doing it, or if they try, they're really bad at it. But you got to learn to do it. You got to take action. So I think the biggest thing people are going to learn is the different ways you can use this technology where if you don't like being on camera, if you're not a real estate agent, you probably don't like being on camera every 5 minutes. And so you can find other ways to be able to do that. You could use presentations. You could do screen captures. You do all sorts of things that can really make, a big difference in your business without having to physically be on camera. And, that's one of the big things, because there's a lot of technology, and we're going to go over, a lot of the things that you can do, what softwares you can use, what makes it easier for you so that you're not trying to do all these crazy things all at once. And there's a lot of great software out there, and there's a lot of great tools that can help. So
this is definitely a presentation that I'm going to be sitting in on, because I'm fascinated by the way that you do that. It's not something that I do in my business, but it's something that I witness every single day when they come up in my feed. I see them all. I'm like, oh, Ray's at it again. He's making money again. So that's awesome. Let me ask you something. You mentioned before that you've been involved in live events in the past. Can you let me know how live events have influenced your internet marketing career, attending live events, and just what kind of an influence has that had on your business?
Let me go back a few years. Before I ever was an online marketer of any kind, I actually got to go to a couple of events because I was a video producer, and I had a friend who was putting on these events. So I got to see behind the scenes. I was videotaping. I was doing, in fact, even before that, one of the things that I got to do was, your guys probably may or may not know a guy named Jeff Johnson, who was a very big internet marketer, especially back a few years ago. And I was the video editor for a live event that he did, and he was turning it into videos. That was my first experience to these live event things, and I'm going, wow, this is so cool. And I'm learning all these things, and I'm like, I don't know what a list is, but I know this is important. But by seeing that, by getting to work behind the scenes at an event, I got to meet people that, a lot of guys, are like, oh, they're starstruck. And I get to meet these people, and I didn't know who the heck they were. Perry Marshall, I don't know who you are. Hey, how you doing? And of course, very big internet marketer. But I got to meet a lot of these people that later on, especially, after some of these events, I go, man, I wish I knew what I was talking about when I met this guy, because I could have gotten a lot of information out of him. Right. And of course, later on, that's exactly what we did. I went to a lot more events, both behind the scenes and attending events and even speaking at events. So it's just a great opportunity to put a real person to a name, to really understand people, to really learn what they're like. I mean, I've met, some people that have become extremely close friends of mine that I only knew online before, and now, we've become much closer friends. We work together on products, work together on different projects, and that's one of the big things is you come to an event like this, you could be meeting the next person that's going to, help you put out $1 million product.
That's right.
You don't know until you get out there, but you could be meeting that person, and it can change your life. And that's why these events are so important. Not only do you learn from the speakers, but you get to interact with all these people that, maybe you've always wanted to meet, or, you've always wanted to reach out to online. Well, now you get the chance to walk up and shake their hand once you get to know them. If you're a newbie, especially, I mean, imagine coming up and meeting some of these guys, and, you've got your first product that you're ever going to put out. Well, unlike when I put out my product, you're now going to have people that who could help you too as affiliates.
That's right. That's right.
More than $500 that first weekend.
That's right. That's right. So, Ray, if you could leave us with one piece of advice for somebody that might be considering going to the event, or maybe it's their first event, what would that be?
Well, I would say the first one is, of course, to do it. You got to go. You got to be there. But the second part of it is you really have to kind of come out of your shell and be willing to go and meet people, talk to people, shake some hands. Don't be afraid. Everybody's going to be doing it. That's what you're there for. People see me do videos and they think I'm this wild and crazy person and all that. But, in a typical situation, walking into a room with people, I'm pretty quiet. I'm not the person who's going to be as outgoing as others, but you have to be. You have to really put on that game face and go out there and shake those hands. And that's the biggest piece of advice I can give you. Get out there and just do it.
When you said wild and crazy guy there, the reason I'm laughing is I remember us trying to find a picture for the event website of Ray Lane. And a guy on my staff, Devin, it was his job to get the pictures of all the speakers. And he hits me up. He's like, look, I got everybody. I'm like, Devin, why isn't the page done? He's like, look, I got everybody's picture. This one guy, I can't find a picture for him. I'm like, come on, who is it? And he's like, Ray Lane. And I'm like, are you kidding me? He's like, dude, there is not one serious picture of this guy.
Yeah, I had to have my daughter go out in the backyard and take a picture of me because, you know, everything was me in pirate hats and you know, dressed up as Einstein or whatever. You know.
Well, Ray, thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Thank you. I can't wait to hear this talk. This is an excellent talk, how to make commissions using video on social media, live video that you can pre-record, how to automate the whole thing. I'm excited about this, and I can't wait to see you and everybody else at the Commission Expo in Orlando, Florida, at the Florida Hotel, April 19th through the 21st. Thanks again, Ray, and we'll see you at the event.
All right, we'll see you there. Thanks.